This has Buccaneers fans confused. There is a lot of worry that this close win that the Buccaneers just had over the Cardinals is maybe not enough to show that the Bucs can make a run in the playoffs or even win the NFC South for that matter. While they have a stretch of games that are very winnable coming up, there is this angst that is going around Tampa Bay Nation that we're just maybe not what we thought we were at the beginning of the season. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back, everybody. Victory Monday. Finally, we're in December, but we did win a game in November yesterday before the month ended. That was good to have because, a month without winning, it can weigh on you quite a bit. And we finally got out with the win. I was much more positive in the live stream. Obviously, thank you to everyone who was part of that and joined in. We had a great time. While stressful at the end, I think for the most part, the Bucs played a good game, created some turnovers, scored quite a bit. Fourth quarter, you wish the offense could have closed things out, but in the end, they still got it done when they needed to. And defense obviously showed up a bit more with some, caveats. But anyways, before we get into this, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be talking about mostly the offense today and how they performed, expectations, concerns, all that stuff, and where they did well, maybe where they didn't, and we'll just get right into it. Actually, if you can like, share, and comment, that would be awesome. It is free. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. It would mean a ton. We're getting very, very close. So let's make that boost this weekend. Or this week, I should say, because right before the Saints game, we want to show all those Saints channels that we mean business. This is one of the bigger Bucs channels out there, and we want to keep growing as much as possible. Thank you to everyone who's already subscribed. So let's just go right into this because I am excited to talk about this. So Baker said today felt like we were really close. Baker Mayfield was talking about the offense getting back to form and their focus on eliminating penalties that hurt them today. I think he is correct for the most part that it felt a little bit more clean in general. I think that they were playing together. The offense was really, really, or at least the offensive line, 4 out of 5 starters were back. Bredesen was playing, and I think Feeney was the guard. So anyway, it was just nice to see a mostly cohesive offensive line performance. Tristan Wirfs, obviously, with that awesome touchdown. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And it was just, to have your best player get a touchdown like that is really, really special. It was his first touchdown since high school, which, believe it or not, but at the same time, it's awesome. It's just a feel-good touchdown. Bucky got his touchdown in his first game back. Godwin dropped a touchdown, which was heartbreaking, but, that's not usually like him. There were some other plays, though, some big plays from Godwin that looked more like the Godwin that we've known. They're definitely ramping him back up into his normal self, and I think he's just going to keep getting better and better every single week as we await the return of McMillan and Evans. So those are all good things. I agree with Baker that the team was looking a lot more like themselves. Again, it's obviously not against the same competition the past few weeks, but a win is a win, man. We've seen some weird games this week, this season. The Panthers beat the Rams somehow. I don't know how that happened. The close game with the Broncos and Commanders. There's just all these upsets that happen that you don't expect. The Chiefs aren't doing very well at all. They lost to the Cowboys and all kinds of stuff. So the Bucs, although they only finished with 13 first downs during the game, last time they had less and won a game was in 2014, so over 10 years, versus Washington. They were 1-7 since then when finishing with 13 first downs or less. Really, I mean, it's bizarre. We had quite a few big plays down like to Emeka, to Godwin, Bucky, I guess that eliminated the need for more first downs. It wasn't as methodical, but at the same time, there were a lot of 3-and-outs and stalling drives that were maybe a bit more concerning. But like I said, the playmaking aspect of the Bucs offense seemed to kind of come back around. We obviously didn't see that Sunday night against the Rams. It was there, I would say, against the Bills. The Bills defense obviously not the strongest by any means. Patriots, it was like this felt similar to the Patriots offensive performance, I would say. Now the Cardinals, not as good as the Patriots. Now, they are a sneaky good team. I don't like everyone talking about how the Cardinals, oh my gosh, they're like the 3-8 team now, 3-9. Like, why are the Bucs struggling so much against this team that's lost so much? They've lost like 8 games this year by 4 points or less. Every single game that they are in, essentially, is really, really close. And Panthers, hey, they lost to the Cardinals too, so I don't want to hear excuses. A win is a win in the NFL, especially this year. The Cardinals gave the Packers trouble. I just, listen, Jacoby Brissett, he plays better than Kyler Murray, and we escaped and got the win. That's what matters. I just, to diminish this win as because style points, it's an obnoxious thing in the league. I get it. There, you can have concerns, but to be unhappy with the win is almost ludicrous in my opinion. You got to be happy after a month of losing. Scott Smith said that Baker Mayfield said that the protection-wise, this was one of the best games of the year for the Bucs offensive line. That kind of goes with the fact that, like we said, 4 out of 5 starters back on the field, and that's going to be as good as it gets this season because Cody Mock, our right guard, is out for the year. So this is as good of an offensive line as the Buccaneers will have, and hopefully it stays this way. No more injuries, please. Knocking on all the woods. We really can't afford that because listen, Baker being protected while dealing with injuries, that is super important, and keeping him off of the ground, not sacked. There was a few times where he had to use his legs and escape, so that looked like more classic Baker. But for the most part, I think they kept him relatively clean. Adam Slavin from Pewter Report said that turns out Mayfield not only recovered in time to not miss any action this week, but he did well operating within Josh Grizzard's offense game plan. Compared to recent outings, Mayfield looked more comfortable in the pocket, throwing with better timing. That led to a higher percentage of passes being completed, and it also created chances for him to utilize his legs when he needed to. Actually, there was a point in the game where he slid, where he typically dives for the first down, and he was laughing about it. He's trying to protect himself. We know we need him for this last stretch, and just keep him, upright and healthy as long as possible. Give that left shoulder time to heal, as among many other things, but he's not creating any excuses. Baker says everyone's injured at this point. I'm not going to pretend like my situation is unique at all. And then lastly, some really good news that Rick Stroud's reporting here. Bucs coach Todd Bowles confirmed that Jalen McMillan will begin practicing sometime next week, and he could be joined by wide receiver Mike Evans, who will begin doing more after recovering from a broken clavicle. Both have a little ways to go before playing, but they are starting that process possibly within the week. Which is just, come on. How can you not get amped up and hyped about that? Listen, the offensive has had some really good games this year. They've had some bad games this year. Very inconsistent. It's obviously, I think at this point we can say it's not as good as the Liam Cohen offense from last year. But we try to get him back. It's out of our hands. He, did the whole scurrying over to Jacksonville thing behind our backs. So listen. The Bucs did what they tried to do. They tried to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league. It didn't work out, but c'est la vie. Things happen. And listen, Grizzard's, I would not call him a bad offensive coordinator. We're still able to have good offensive production. This feels more closer to the Dave Canales era, which is weird because it feels like Canales at this point is a better head coach than he is an offensive coordinator, which that's very possible. You can be a better leader of men than a play caller. That's just where your strengths may lie. And he's not a bad play caller either. They're doing great stuff with Bryce Young, unfortunately, because we're going to have to face them pretty soon. What's actually important to note is that the Buccaneers, their next 3 games of the season are all divisional games. Each the 3 divisional opponents. Next week, the Saints, then the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, and then the Panthers. If we win these next 3 games, all 3 games, the division is ours, and we've secured a playoff spot. By week, I think it'd be week 16. So we have a chance here. Just keep winning. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Divisional games are always weird. We've seen that across the league, not just with the NFC South, but the Buccaneers, they're getting reinforcements. They're getting more guys back. There's also rumors that Kalijah Kancey could be making a comeback like Mike Evans. So even so, we'll be getting defensive help in that sense. Benjamin Morrison's still working on his hamstring, which is a bit frustrating. But he's had some rough games, so maybe some time away is going to help. Jamel Dean looked good out there, so defense that's looking solid. At least this past game against Brissett, and people were getting like all up and at him about Brissett, he's carving up our defense. I don't think that was really the case. I think that was more listen, Brissett, he was leading the league in this past month in passing yards per game. So he wasn't just doing it to the Bucs. And it's, we kept him to 17 points. Trey McBride was having a good game. Covering tight ends can really sometimes be a struggle for the Bucs. or really just recently, just covering anyone has been a struggle for us. But having Dean back did seem to help a lot of things. Him and Parrish are a really good cornerback duo, in my opinion. I love Tyke Smith, and I love Antoine Winfield. He got a pick in this game off of a Dean deflection. Tyke maybe didn't have his strongest game in coverage, but, that's guarding arguably the best tight end with Trey McBride. It's just going to be a hard challenge for anyone. And listen, I mean, they played a good game, the Cardinals. They play a good game almost every week, but they don't know how to close games like the Bucs do. And that's what we got to be grateful for, is that this team does know how to win. That is definitely something that is in their skill set. We haven't been winning lately just because of just the circumstances, the matchups. You know how it goes. So, but like I said, offense, very inconsistent. And that's why I started this video by saying that this has Buccaneers fans confused, is because we're not exactly sure how we're supposed to feel about this team right now. I like I said in previous videos, I don't think this has really changed my opinion, this game at least. The fact that I don't think that this Buccaneers team they don't have the roster yet, and maybe not even the coaching staff. I'm not sure. I still believe in Todd Bowles, but they don't have the pieces yet to make like a championship run. This is a playoff team, I think, for sure, and they'll cause some noise. I would be surprised if they were able to make it past the divisional round. But listen, man, the NFL is weird and wonky. You just got to get hot at the right time. And the Buccaneers have a chance with their schedule going down the stretch. Win out, man, and stay hot. Winning is contagious. And just because you didn't win the 3-game stretch that we thought we needed to, does not mean that you can't win the rest of your games and feel better about playing, the better teams in the playoffs. I still think that this is a team that'll be fun to watch, to compete. The offense, like I said, the offensive line, they're still getting kind of back gelling together because it's been on and off all season. Who's been in rotations and whatever. Baker's still trying to get back to healthy again. The connection with Emeka, it's so inconsistent. It was so hot at the beginning of the year, but now it feels like Baker's either underthrowing, overthrowing Emeka. Emeka's dropping balls. Kind of same problem with Godwin, weirdly enough. So it's kind of a weird situation there, but I'm not expecting it to be a consistent problem in the future. I mean, these guys, Godwin and Emeka, this is the future of the receiving core, and Jalen McMillan. I mean, Evans, we hope he sticks around for another year, obviously. But yeah, like I don't see this being indicative of what they will look like going forward with the Buccaneers. They've dealt with injuries. You go through some rough patches. It happens. That's just the existence of a wide receiver in the NFL for the most part, unless you're just like one of the all-time elite guys. But yeah, I like I said, so confused but not too concerned. I still think that this team has what it takes to win the games down the stretch. Just stay healthy, which actually that's another really good piece of news, is that, Bucky looked really good, and there was no real injury updates, or not updates. There were no injuries that happened from this game, that we're just continuing to get healthier. It's finally nice to get out of a game and have no real big injuries to talk about. Bucky, again, his playmaking ability, him and Godwin, Baker was talking about that. They expand your capability as an offense and just really make the defense play more on their heels and less attack. And I think that Bucky he unlocks the entire running game, and it was just awesome to watch him run around. He's just so exciting. He was so amped up after his touchdown. He scored twice, but then one of them got called back, and then he scored again. So he's great for my fantasy team. He's great for the Buccaneers. I heard the Bucky chants on the TV, and it was great. So all these things, really good vibes, really just awesome to get a win. And I want to ask you guys, how are you feeling about this Bucs win? Are you on the more of the side that was disappointed, wanted to have more of a emphatic win against the Cardinals, or are you like me, who's like, I just wanted to win. I know the Cardinals are a scrappy team, and really all that matters is that we don't embarrass ourselves, and lose a game that we should win, or really kind of have to win, and maintain our half-game lead on the NFC South. So, again, let me know down below how you're feeling. Where's your worry scale? Where's your hype scale, if there is one? All that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.